Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cops Court and Community. I'm Darnell Leeson. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and once you do, please put in the comment section below, I subscribe, and I will personally respond and welcome you as one of our newest community members. Okay, guys, so in a moment, joining the show will be traffic attorney from the Golden State, California, traffic attorney Allen Baylis, who will talk about something that most have a concern about while driving, and that is traffic tickets and traffic court. I encourage you to stick around. All right, welcome back, guys. And with me now is the leading authority in Southern California on traffic law, Allen Baylis. Thanks for being here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
So now, you know, a lot of people here have some misunderstanding about traffic tickets. And some drivers think that when you get a ticket that you just have to pay them because there is no way to fight them in court. Now, others think that you can fight everything, but there are some tickets that you really shouldn't fight. You know, like here in New York, something minor like, you know, an expired inspection or registration. And there's no doubt that it's expired, but there are many that still think that they should fight it, right? So tell us about that.
Well, you know, for example, if you're not the kind of person that gets a lot of tickets, but, you know, feels like you should perhaps avail yourself of the use of the traffic courts, it's common knowledge that if an officer doesn't show up for the trial, that the case will be dismissed. And so if you want to have somebody show up for you so that if the officer doesn't appear, the case will get dismissed, but you'd rather be at work or golf or whatever, then we can have an attorney show up in court for you. If you have traffic school available to you, then generally speaking, the courts will allow you to use the traffic school program on the day of trial if the officer does happen to show up. So we'll go ahead and be there for you. Our fees are very reasonable for this service, and then you can not have to take a day off of work, and we'll be there in case the officer doesn't show up so we can take
Right. So what you're saying, and I know this already, but this is for the sake of those who don't know this, and that is if a person that gets a traffic ticket and they are busy with work or school, or maybe they're on vacation and they can't go to court that day, you or one of your attorneys will appear at the court on their behalf. And in the event that the police officer shows up, you'll go ahead and arrange for a traffic school so they really don't have to be there at all, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a situation where someone would use, or actually a situation where someone would use if it's the type of case that couldn't actually be won by the motorists in, let's say, a trial. Well, actually, let me ask, what type of traffic tickets would fall into that category? Would it be a speeding ticket, running a stop sign, cell phone violation? What type of cases would you do?
Yes, most of the time it wouldn't make very much sense to have a trial on a case if traffic school is available to the client. So certain cases are much more difficult to win at trial than others. The more technical the legal aspects of a case are, the more chances you have of winning it at trial. So certainly running a stop sign, most of the time crossing the double yellow lines on the carpool lane, you know, failing to obey a no U-turn sign or something like that. Those are the ones that are difficult because the officer's burden of proof, what he has to prove in order to make the conviction is pretty minimal. When you get into more technical things about California speed trap law, red light camera tickets, and those kinds of things, then there's more opportunity to bring in technical and legal issues.
Hold on. Wait a second, Allen. Now, you said red light camera tickets. Now, these are those tickets that you get in the mail for allegedly running a red light. Now, I've never gotten a red light camera ticket, but I know people who have. Are you saying that there's a defense for actually beating these types of tickets in court?
Yes, in most of the time there's a defense that can be raised. And as time goes on, the cities are, changing the way they present their cases, and we keep throwing new legal issues at them. And so there is always a chance of winning those cases if you have a really experienced and knowledgeable attorney to fight the case. Very seldom does someone fighting one of those cases on their own win them. They're very seldom.
Okay, and that would be true for this type of scenario. So you're driving down the highway, and thankfully I don't speed or drive reckless, but we have all seen when the police are sitting on the side of the road perpendicular to the flow of traffic, and they're shooting radar or LiDAR, and that type of driver feels that if they get stopped and they believe that they were speeding, and they don't believe that they were speeding and broke the law somehow, that they can't fight those types of tickets because some sort of speed measuring device was used. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, most of the time there's at least some evidentiary issues that you can raise. In other words, the admissibility of the evidence as to the calibration of the radar or laser unit. The handheld units generally are lasers. The car-mounted units are radar.
Good point.
But if it's on the freeway, it's a little tougher to beat those than if it's on a surface street where the engineering and traffic surveys have to be brought in, and then you have a lot of ways to challenge the sufficiency of the survey and the admissibility of the evidence and things. So there is kind of a continuum of cases that have the kinds of legal issues that can result in a win versus ones that are harder to beat.
Wow, great answer. I would have never thought about traffic surveys and road engineering. That's some great information. So there are many types of cases that you actually litigate in court. Speed cases, I would think, are the hardest. And I did an interview with an attorney in New York, Michael Beer, and he said that those cases are the toughest cases to fight. But there are some cases that come up here, and that's when a motorist, they send in an affidavit instead of actually appearing. Now, I know what my thoughts are, and I've expressed them to my family members. But what are your thoughts on trials by affidavit? Would you advise that, or what do you call them anyway?
Some people do like to do the trial by declarations. I do offer that service. It's not something I do a lot of, but I do offer the service to help people out with that.
Well, let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on the traffic court process and the judges, whether here in New York or where you are in California?
Traffic court's tough anyway. Very, very few judges are going to be, anything better than neutral when it comes to, in fact, you're lucky to get a judge that's, fairly neutral in the way they see the evidence and judge the credibility of the witnesses. The courts do have a tendency to lean towards the prosecution, so you are always fighting an uphill battle, but I certainly wouldn't mention any names.
Right, exactly right. Wow, let me tell you, that was some great information. I know you're very, very, very busy, so I appreciate you taking out the time and spending with us and providing that information. I'm going to put your website information down below and in the comment section. So if anybody is in the Southern California area, please, if you're having a traffic court issue, reach out to Allen Baylis. Allen, thank you so much for joining me on Cops Court and Community. Guys, thank you so much for viewing. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. And again, if you know somebody in Southern California, please refer them to Mr. Baylis here. I appreciate you guys, as always. Thank you so much. And as I always say, guys, I'll see you in the next video.